So, here I am, hiding in a bush on Miramar, on PUBG, back playing one of my favourite games of all time, after playing a few weeks solidly of Call of Duty with a sprinkling of DayZ in between. And I kind of wanted to make this video just to remind everybody, if you've stopped playing PUBG, or to encourage people, if you haven't started playing PUBG, about what an absolutely amazing game this is, and how really it's not like anything else at all. Even other battle royales that you find in the genre, and in particular the solo gameplay as well, I don't think is like anything else, because we're into the top 10 now. As you can see, there's 10 minutes to go in this particular game, and it ends, I get a chicken dinner. But what makes PUBG special is what you're seeing right here. I think it's the fact that this game can make hiding in a bush and waiting for something to happen for several minutes really, really exciting. And it's all to do with the slow build-up. I mean, this is Miramar. This is the biggest PUBG map we have, and the games often will push 30 minutes when if you manage to get into the top 5 and the top 3, or you manage to win the thing. And so if you play tactically, let's call it, like I do, where I jump far and I try and loot up in safety, and then move into the quiet side of the circle, then creep in, trying to pick people off, generally trying to survive until the last few players, and then doing my bit to try and kill them where necessary, playing very stealthily. Then there is a lot of waiting in this game. There is a lot of moving around. There is a lot of listening to the ambient sounds and what's happening just over that hill that you can't quite see. And this builds up the tension over time until in the last sort of 5 minutes, and then the last 3 minutes and the last minute, when you suddenly realise there's a chance that you're going to win this thing. There's a chance for what normally is the last 100 people. You're going to beat 100 people to get to the last few and beat them. When you start to realise that, even the most hardened PUBG players, in solos especially, you start getting the PUBG sweats. You start getting nervous. Your fingers start to shake. You start to question your aim. No aim assist in PUBG, even on console, so you've got to be sure. And you start to get the adrenaline rush that happens. And it really is unlike anything else, and is very, very special indeed, because you have this huge build-up. The problem with PUBG, though, is just that as well. In order to really enjoy PUBG, I think, often you've got, especially if you just play solos, you've always got this massive build-up, this 25-minute build-up before the real action happens. And sometimes it's very easy to think, well, actually, I'd rather play a bit of COD. A bit of Call of Duty, say Modern Warfare 2019, the new one, which I think is absolutely fantastic, where you're thrown almost immediately into the action, and if you die, again, you're thrown back into the action within a couple of seconds. If you play Ground War, the big mode, you've got jets screaming over the head, helicopters flying around, tanks zooming around the map, and it is a completely different experience. And then you think about, should I play some PUBG, and think, it's such an investment in time, half an hour of my gaming time, in order to maybe get into a top 10. Now, the other thing I'd say is what's pretty cool about PUBG, and we probably don't give them enough credit for this, is what you're actually seeing here is gameplay from the public test server, which is the test environment for PUBG, where you can download an early version of the game. Well, not an early, but a version of the game that won't be coming to the public servers for a week or so. So you can kind of get to know it, and you're really testing it for PUBG, so that the PUBG Corp, so they can see any big bugs that might be happening, and hopefully sort them out before when it gets pushed to the public servers. So in this particular series of games that I was playing, I was really wanted to get Vikendi. That's because they've made quite a few changes to Vikendi. Vikendi is basically It's probably my favourite map in PUBG. I know lots of people won't agree with that, but I think it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm a little bit kind of concerned that they've changed things. And so there was only about 30 people, I think, in this particular lobby. But it doesn't really matter that much because it all funnels us together, bringing us in with the blue to these final few minutes. In fact, you can probably hear, my breathing in the original audio underneath this commentary, where I start to sigh and like, right, okay, checking my loadout, making sure my guns are on auto, making sure my grenades are selected, because this is it now. This is quite an interesting final circle, because I'm on one side of the circle that's about to sort of collapse, and I can see the other side of the circle, and I can hear the gunfire over to my right, and I'm pretty sure there's someone to my left. I'm pretty sure I saw someone to my left, so I'm keeping my profile low, crawling into the final circles. Now, you could very well argue that PUBG and DayZ are very similar in this respect, in that both games make you do things that are very mundane but make them very exciting. So for example, in DayZ there's an awful lot of running around, not really doing much, eating food, and just surviving, which on the face of it isn't very exciting at all. And in PUBG, you do a lot of waiting and running around and doing this sort of thing, and they're very similar in that way. Whereas with say Apex or Fortnite or the Firestorm, or even Blackout, the Call of Duty Battle Royale, you're doing lots more things more regularly to sort of stay exciting. But this is why PUBG is so special. And if you haven't checked it out recently, then maybe you should think about picking it up, because when it goes on sale, it's free on Xbox under Game Pass still, so you can play it for free. It normally goes down to about $15 on the PlayStation every now and again, and of course on PC it tends to go down as well. Getting back to my point actually, which I started about 2 minutes ago, was the fact that PUBG Corp are constantly developing the game and trying to improve the game. Now, they don't always get that right. Often it's 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. Sometimes it's 2 steps forwards, 2 steps back, 1 step forward. But the fact that this game does change has to be lauded, and PUBG I should be in everybody's game library to try. It is a bit of a time sink to get used to it. You need to go into the training mode and run lots of drills. But overall, it's very, very exciting, and the way that I'm feeling now in this game, I'm putting my dot down in the centre of the circle, because it's very easy to, I find it very easy to kind of get a bit too excited and end up running in the wrong direction. And this is where I start moving in, and again the adrenaline's starting to pump. I can hear the guy shooting over to my left, so it's the decision: do I go up there and try and finish them off? Do I go down and finish the other guy off? But anyway, I'll leave you with the gameplay and just remind you, PUBG is absolutely the greatest multiplayer online shooter ever made, and if you haven't checked it out already, you definitely should. I'll see you again soon.